Yeah, I agree with you. There is that thing. There is a bunch of islands for sale. Do you remember Christine Lund? She was a newscaster here.
Oh yes, yes,
Right.
yes. I do remember
Beautiful
her.
blonde woman.
I remember
great
her.
Delivery, the whole
Yeah,
thing.
she was. She was.
Right.
She was one of my favorite
Yeah,
newscasters.
actually, she was. Yeah, I used to.
She was great.
I was drawn to her. But what happened was that once she found that she had enough, which didn't take very much, she went and bought an island off Canada.
Mm-hmm. It was cold up there.
Oh yeah, well she's Swedish, so Lund, and,
Yeah.
and she loves the cold. So she is the only person that I know of who not only bought an island, but the island is literally empty for 6 months a year. Of course, the winter months.
Yeah.
And she is the only woman in that entire place, and there are no men. So she's the only person on that island.
She's really isolated.
Yeah, and she loves it, and I don't blame her. And this is the kind of thing that. What kind of camera is that? Oh, it's a Canon. I see. Okay.
Yeah,
So you're actually retired?
Yeah, I retired. Well, I've come back now, and I want to work. I came back because I got raped. I got raped by the military during a couple of coups there, and.
Wait a minute. You mean actually attacked?
Raped by 4 men, by four officers in the military. And I was told.
Wait a minute, their military or our military?
No, Fijian. The Fijian army. And
holy
yeah, you can't. Well, it's a third world country, and not only that, it's very, very chauvinist. It's very chauvinist. The men rule. The men totally rule.
So you pressing charges against
No. I was told if I pressed charges, I would disappear.
Yeah, you'd be killed, right?
That's what the captain of the army barracks told me.
Holy!
And I didn't want to press charges anyway. They have about like that.
Oh well,
Island boys.
Jeez, Sharon.
But I thought they were going to kill me.
Well,
I wasn't worried about the sexual part. I thought I was going to die.
Oh yeah, because we have a particular. We grow up in a thing of get rid of the evidence, that kind of thing, and in this case, your mouth would be the evidence. You would be talking. You'd be over there identifying 4 men.
No, and I just, I was in the wrong. I was number one. I was jogging. At night.
Yeah.
And you don't go out at night alone. You just don't do that.
Wow, you don't go out anywhere alone.
Yeah,
huh?
probably. But
Lord.
I always do what I want to do. But in this case, it wasn't a good idea. But I don't know. It kind of woke me up. Sometimes you have to wake up.
You've taken this really quite well. How long ago was this?
This was 4 years ago now.
Good God. I mean,
I'm in therapy.
Well,
and it's like,
you deserve to be in the sense of, I wouldn't take that away from anybody, but I mean, oh my God. I went through some abuse like that myself when I was a kid, when I was a child, but I've had a lot of years to forget it. And
stuff as a child, I would think you just, that's tough to forget, I think.
Well, you never do.
Yeah, it's always there.
See, I don't know how you can put up with something.
Speaking on that, John, just so our audience knows, we have John Tremaine on the show now.
We're shooting now.
Yes.
All this is there, Sharon, is for the world.
I'm sorry, I'm just like, dumb blonde.
I was just wondering, John, do you use that in your work? And some of your training?
Yeah.
Before you came on the show, I just saw you put you up to speed. Sharon and I, we were talking about Solari.
Oh, my
and
dear.
She remembers her from New York in the play, and you were in the play.
Yes.
And it'd be great.
I replaced the Jack Keogh.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And we went out, Salome, myself, Mitch. And
Mitch Ryan.
Mitch Ryan, yeah. I keep thinking everybody knows Mitch. Mitch Ryan and Dick McKenzie. Dick is now dead. Which is sad because he was a sweetheart of a guy.
Yeah.
I just loved him. And I had gotten, this was my first full rate professionals. Oh, you're not getting any of this.
No, your voice is very low.
Actor's voice. There we go.
There you go.
Yeah.
We didn't know we were being
I
photographed.
had no idea. See, it's totally real, totally natural.
This show is unscripted.
I mean, has she got a smile?
Yes, she does. Let's see if we can get that.
Sharon, you really.
It was all broken out because my teeth are all broken out. So it's like they.
What did they do
they
to you?
kind of.
My God,
Well,
they
they
beat
really.
you?
Yeah, they.
Fists?
I really got it. I mean, that's
All right.
why.
I want the guys. I'm telling you, I want the guys.
I still have my property over there.
Oh my Lord.
Listen, there was one guy that got into prison because he got 15 years, and I didn't even know.
That's more than they give them here.
I'm sure, and the prisons there are, they're not so.
No, they're
it's
mud
a third
huts.
world.
They're
It's
mud
third
huts with
world.
bars around,
Yeah, and I'm sure a lot of abuse and everything goes on there.
God.
But and I didn't press charges.
Yeah, you didn't do anything.
And no, I read about it in the newspaper.
Yeah.
And the guy got 15 years, and they gave him his name and all of this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I got counseling by this lady in Suva, this Fijian lady, counseled me, because there's a lot of abuse in men beat their women. They kick their dogs. I mean, somebody comes up to, I was sitting having breakfast in this little house on the beach, and there were 14 people that lived there, and there was a little dog, a little puppy that came wandering in, and they picked up a thing of hot water and they threw it at the dog.
Good.
And it's like, you can't, it's so hard to handle stuff like that. But I mean, when they're driving down the road, they see a chicken, they try to hit it. I mean, it's like you're in another world.
It is another world.
It's another world.
It
We
is.
are so lucky to be living in the
Yeah.
United States. I cannot tell you.
That was the one thing that the old chief said to me. As I was in the Navy when I was a kid, 19
Oh,
years
yeah.
old, right? So I had just come back from my duty station, which happened to be, unfortunately, in the Philippines. If you know Fiji, you know the Philippines.
Yeah, you
And
know just
I mean,
what
it's
I'm
all the
talking
same.
about.
And well, yeah, I fortunately I only had 30 days there, but when I got back, I literally, being the wise ass that I am, I in uniform, I bent down and I kissed the tarmac of the airfield, right? And this huge, I'm talking about bear of a chief comes out. He's got all this gold on his arm. And, I stand up and I see him. I say, I beg your pardon, Chief. And he says, you want to appreciate this country, kid? And I said, oh, yes, sir. And he said, go someplace else. And he's right. You go anywhere else. And you just gave an example. Fiji, you can't be serious. Everybody thinks Fiji is paradise.
Well, you stay in the hotel, and if you're in the hotel, you're okay.
You're fine, yeah.
You're okay.
Unreal.
But you just don't,
Yeah, the same thing with Tahiti. You go in because, as I said, our buddy Brando, as much as I loved his work, he wasn't much of a man, and his whole thing.
Oh, what he did to Rita Moreno, I worked with her, and he was just a monster.
Oh yeah, and she said quite flat, he's crazy. And
I can't help it.
Well, I mean, what are you going to do?
But he's so sexy, I can't say no.
Oh, just kidding. I just saw.
Speaking of sexy, yes. What was it like? I mean, some of your training. So let's get back to it.
Back to the original thing. You actually wanted to.
I want to know, a little bit of history of your background as an actor.
I started in regional theater in Washington D.C. If you know it's called LORT, League of Resident Theaters, with Arena Stage, and I didn't get much there. You can go in there and you can present, hey, here I am. They're like, nice to see you, and so I said, get out of here, go to New York, and I was there for 3 years, beating the pavement for 900 interviews.
In New York?
In New York? It takes you about 3 years.
Yeah.
It takes you about 3 years before you start to...
Right, before
it
you start
happens.
to click. Yeah. Well, I was 23
really
years
does.
old, and I was 23, and I got in
I
with
was
this
like
one
nine-
agent who
I
was
was
really
18,
terrific.
18?
Yeah, there you go.
Where did you hang out? Did you ever go to Jimmy Ray's?
Oh yeah, sure. I lived in Jimmy Ray's. Heaven's
I
sake,
did
that-
too. All actors. Did you ever go to Jimmy
No,
Ray's?
I can never afford those places.
But Jimmy Ray's, you could run a tab there.
You could run a tab, yeah, like
It was the
crazy.
only
Really?
place when you
That
got paid, you went down to Joe Allen's.
Yeah, and
I remember Joe Allen's.
Yes.
Joe's. They had the three. The Haymarket was on the other side of the street, but they were all the same street within 2 blocks of each
Yeah.
other. And Joe Allen's was this exclusive little place that I couldn't even. I never had a time in there where there wasn't a huge bill in Joe Allen's.
Yeah.
9 people sitting together, $90, $100, you know.
Back in those days, that's a lot of money.
Yeah,
A lot of money.
But Jimmy Ray's, every actor, even Al Pacino, had a
Pacino and
tab.
I would sit in there. We would actually sit in that place, and he would.
Yeah.
Al, you'll have to forgive me for this. He would actually butter his toast with his fingers. He was trying so hard to be a hippie, and Al was never a hippie. He was never the type.
From the South Bronx, my neighborhood.
Yeah, I mean, we went up for the same roles, and I actually used utensils when I was eating. So Al and I had a different view of that particular.
But Sharon, you would have loved Jimmy Ray's.
Oh,
It
you
was
would-
really
it
an
was
actor's
huge.
bar.
It was a huge place. That was one of the funny things about it. It was gigantic. For all the rest of those places, you know, New York, everything's small. Right?
Yeah.
Everything's up. Jimmy Ray's was gigantic. The bar alone was as long as his apartment.
I remember one day when Richard Lynch had been passed away.
Oh, Richard Lynch. I
Yeah.
worked with. He passed away.
Yeah, but about 2 years ago, I guess it is now. I remember seeing him coming into Jimmy Ray's and he had a Burberry trench coat. And we knew if you had a Burberry, you made it.
You were
Oh,
done.
that's funny. Isn't that funny?
Him and Tom Signorelli,
Oh, God.
Tommy Zig, we used to call him. I don't know if you remember, but yeah, Richie Lynch, he passed away. Well, after his son died, just took the
No, his
life out
son
of him.
died?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a horrible thing
See, I
to
knew
go through.
Richard.
But Richard Lynch did a film called the 7 Ups,
Yeah, the 7 Ups.
which was his
Great.
first starring role.
Yeah, it was a great.
And,
movie.
Was that before he got all those scars?
no,
on
it's
his-
after.
No, it was
Was
long
after?
after that. He
Yeah,
had
and his first starring role in a film. And it's funny because when we met, became friends, that film, the real ones, the 7 Ups, were the ones that arrested me. It was about an organized crime task force in the Bronx. He used to go after mob guys.
I'm sorry. Every time I hear this,
But it's a true story.
Here he is sitting here doing the work of a missionary, literally. And he talks about organized crime like it was, it was yesterday morning. My mother came over and, give me a break, John.
But it was. And we used to laugh about it. I said, those are the guys that arrested me. And you got your first starring role.
Oh,
You know.
God.
Yeah, but
Oh,
organized
my
crime
God.
I
task
did the
force.
premonition with him.
Good actor.
Yeah, he was good.
Really?
He was good.
Really a good actor. I never seen him, no matter
Troublesome.
what show he was on, he never walked through it.
No, he always gave his all. He really
Yeah.
did. I mean, he did dangerous things. I mean,
Yeah.
gosh, he was up on scaffolding, that he really shouldn't have probably gone up on, and nobody else would go up on it. I mean, the director did because he wanted to get him up there,
Right.
And Richard just ran, and John, who was some big football player was the star of it. John Matuzak.
Oh.
He was like such a
Also
pussy. And Lynch was like, oh man, as far as, jumping in and doing the work.
Right.
Oh, Lordy,
John
that's
Matuzak
funny.
was a pussy.
Matuzak also dead now from brain tumors.
Yeah, he took-
steroids.
Yeah, the steroid
Yeah.
era.
Anyway, back to the original as we were talking about. It's just to get to Salome because Salome was such an influence. In fact, I was talking to Joanna about it at the convention.
Joanna,
Cassidy, and because she,
I like her too.
yeah, she's a sweetheart. There's no doubt about it.
Good
She's
actress.
a fine actress.
She was at the union board meeting the other night. She's really, she came back and ran because she cares about the union.
because she cares about the union.
Oh, good.
Exactly.
I
And
thought
she
she
sat.
seems to have some brains,
Well, she
for
sat
an
with-
actress,
She sat with the anti-merger people, which is our group.
Right.
So she had the guts to go up against the people who
Who would hire her and
would,
put the
would
word out.
definitely, have some influence on her career. Although she's doing very well right now, there's no.
Is she working?
Yeah, she's
Actually,
on
yes.
Oh, good.
She's playing David Bournias' mother, which I think is great.
You're laughing so hard I couldn't.
No,
I
I'm
couldn't
sorry,
hear what
it's
you said.
crazy.
What
You
did
know,
she- what did
she's
she
playing
do?
David Bournias' mother, and she looks like his mother, like she looks. Oh, sorry.
See, now I could hear you.
Oh, okay. Now, it's that week, huh? Okay, I've got to get back to it. she's doing this series and she's playing somebody's mother. You're gonna be serious. It's like you playing somebody's mother.
I'm playing a grandma. Listen, I'm 72.
That's it.
I'm going to be 73
That's
in
it.
a month. And I'm like, you know, the way they used to do things in the old days where they'd have these old people playing mothers, the mothers sometimes the mothers look better than the kids. I did a thing where I had this big fat daughter. And it's like, she always, you know, she was like, had a boyfriend and she was always worried, and I was always better looking than her.
Oh, jeez.
But that's the way it really is in life. Did you ever see Sherry North's daughter?
Yeah, actually, I saw
so,
Sherry North. I mean,
you
I'm
know,
going to tell you that
she's gorgeous, beautiful
she
woman.
knocked me out. I mean, I
good
saw
actress
her.
too. She's
Yes,
a good actress.
that was the good thing about it. That was the wonderful thing about it. Right in the middle of nowhere, she insisted on having, you know, a single role because she had worked like a dog to get to a point where people would believe her. And she got this thing with, believe it or not, what is her name? She's dead now, unfortunately. Diary of a Mad Housewife.
Oh,
I know what we mean.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah.
think about it; it'll come
Yeah.
to
It'll
you.
come right to you. And
she died too?
yes, she did of a liver ailment. And
She had a weird kind of great name. I mean, you wouldn't forget her name ever.
Carrie Snodgrass.
Snodgrass. I mean, who could forget that?
Carrie, she was one of the best speech teachers that you'll ever have. She came back to the studio. I met her.
Really?
Yes, and she was teaching us how to breathe and speak.
Yeah.
Carrie, she had an incredible voice. She did a lot of voice
I went to see her
commercials.
on stage, and she was with Sherry North, and I couldn't believe it. I mean, she was so outstanding in that thing.
Yeah, she was a brilliant actress.
And I'm saying, you say, wait a second, she's got a relatively small role in this thing, yet literally everyone is waiting for her to reappear.
Right.
Carrie was fine. Carrie was lovely. She was the star. There's no doubt about it. But Sherry North was outraged. She was so good.
Yeah.
And Nicky Persoff, which is, he's
Right.
still alive. He's 99 now.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah.
Is he still working?
He's still working.
He's still working. I love it.
He has an artist colony up there. Big sir. Anyway, back to my lovely Salome Jens. I went up to do this audition through my brand new agent, first job. Okay, brand new. He said, "Okay, go over for this thing. Let's see what happens."
What was the name of it?
A Moon for the Misbegotten.
Right.
It was it was a towering hit in New York at the time.
She made that play.
Yeah, she did, and she had been doing it for 18 months at that point. And I went up there, and they said, "Okay, you're doing this and this and this." And I walked. Now, dig this. I walked past, and this is the crowning achievement. Right?
Excuse me.
I walked back past 150 other actors because I had an appointment from an agent, right?
Yeah.
And I got there,
Because
and I
everybody's
was like,
standing in line.
she says to me, "Oh, John, we've been waiting for you." And I'm like, "I hope I'm not late." No, you're fine, you're fine. Went in the room with the Samuel French copy, right? The guy's not cheap or anything like that. So I get in there, and Salome is not, they've got the whole thing laid out. It's the entire set.
Wow.
But they put it up here so that everybody will be in it. And I go, "Oh, wow, okay." She's in costume. It's 11 o'clock in the morning. There's no way in the world, I'm like, okay, what? All right. I went in, I freshed up the first 5 pages, and I went out and we did it. The manager comes over to me and he says, "Okay, go in and learn your role." And I'm like, "What do you mean learn the role? I haven't, we're not doing it. And he says, "Just take it easy. Everything's fine. We got a bunch of other people to see." I sat in there for like a half hour listening to the drone of voices. And
Reading your part, right?
Yeah,
Going
right.
up for your role.
yeah,
How
and I'm like,
awful.
"Oh my God, one of these guys is going to score," And he says, "Okay, come on back out and we'll do from page 6 to 10. And I'm like, "Okay, we'll do that whole thing." He says, "Okay, come on back in. We've got some." And I'm like, "Can I ask what's going on here?" And he says, "You got the role, kid." And I'm like, "What do you mean I got the role?" He said, "Jim, Salome likes you. You're okay. You're okay. She won't go on stage with somebody that doesn't meet her
Standards.
ability." Yeah, her standards. So
Wow, she was a star there,
oh
wasn't
yeah, she was big in New York.
And
she
big.
was absolutely.
The body we were talking earlier. She was known as
Oh
the
yeah.
body.
Oh yeah, she was just gorgeous.
And such a my idol. I
Oh
tell
yeah,
people she's my idol.
here it was that afternoon. I signed the contract. Thursday, that was a Tuesday. Thursday, I was here in L.A. We opened at a theater that is no longer here. It's now Orbox.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, it was called the Lindy Opera House. And I don't know if you ever heard of it, but
No.
we went on there. We were there for 3 weeks, and it was just great. Mitch left the show, went to do Monty Walsh, which I saw later. It was a great movie, and he did a wonderful job. I suppose he's happy with what he's done up to now. Can you still hear me?
Yes.
And
Well, you
I know I drop off. This is crazy. I'm going back to the classroom. But I want to ask about you.
you lit up when he was talking about listening to the auditions of people reading for your part.
Oh, it's just so horrible. I mean,
Oh,
it
it
just
is.
all of a sudden, you know, you go up and you read, and you're standing outside, waiting till I come in to see the casting directors, and if they do pull you into a room because they like you, and you can hear what's going on.
I kept thinking,
It's-
should I have done that?
Oh,
Should I?
Oh,
damn, I should.
oh, and it's like you can't listen to any of it because none of that is any good because only what you do is what's good.
Is what's good.
And if you hear what they're doing and if you do that, you can't do that. You
No,
can't
you
go
can't,
there.
no.
So you got to just plug your ears. You really do. And you can't plug your ears
I was
because
sitting
you're
at
so
that-
curious. You want to know what that person is doing. You know?
no.
Oh,
Well, they were
it's
getting-
so awful.
They were getting
Yeah.
guys in there where they're 6 foot plus. Well, you know, Salome's really tall. So she wanted somebody, fortunately I was 5'9", so there was no problem. But yeah, you're exactly right. I had to sit there with my hands over my ears.
Yeah.
You know, after a while learning this role. And it was wonderful. She was great. We were on for 105 performances across country. And, you know, 5 cities, and Boston being one of them. And Boston has got to be the weirdest. But that's where O'Neill came from.
Right.
They had to do something there. Then I came back and I went to, I was in various small things because there wasn't anything around. Then Abelard and Eloise came into town with Diana Rigg and Keith Michelle. And I went up for it, boom, got it. And I was like, you know, this is my second agent. It was Ed L'Amato,
Ed L'Amato, you had Ed L'Amato?
Ed was just starting, and he
Oh
took
my God, you are so lucky.
Let me tell you, it was wonderful, except that he had no power at the time.
Oh, but
Except-
he had a lot of
Oh.
balls.
Oh,
I mean,
he
that
had-
guy
he had
went
all of
after
it. He
things.
had
He
all
went
of it.
after things. God,
All
he
of
was
it.
the king here.
He was, and I'm living 2 blocks from his main man, Denzel Washington. You know, I called him up. I said, Ed, congratulations, an Oscar. You can't be serious. He said, oh, I knew he had it. I knew he was going to do it. Well, I saw it was Glory.
Mm-hmm.
The guy knocked me out. I said, there's no way in the world. I mean, he's better than anybody I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I mean, anybody, including Brando. Well, now he's got 2. I didn't like the second one, but you know, what can I do? After that, I'm going to, he's waiting.
No.
Get on with it, you know.
No, I'm not.
No, I'm kidding you. But after that,
Now, are you running? You said you ran for president of the
of-
Screen Actors Guild,
of the local.
of the local Screen
Yeah.
Actors Guild.
I lost to Clyde Kusatsu, and Clyde's a fine guy, but he's U4S. I don't know if you know the difference in the 2 campaigns.
I really don't. I am really angry with our union. I have been
So
because
am
when I found out that directors make 100% residuals,
Yeah.
and we get like 47 cents on shows that have gone, and they get what they were paid at the
Original.
time. They get their original payment, and the actors, and you know, gosh, the directors I have worked with, most of them suck, and the nicest ones, the best ones, are just they let you do what you have to do.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, they just leave you alone,
Yeah.
and they just run a nice ship.
Yeah. They
You know,
let-
and it's
they
like,
let
it's
it
like
happen.
a not, I mean, I think almost anybody, you know, anybody could be an actor. Well, anybody I think could be a director, but boy, they've got good unions. And it's like, I go over to the Motion Picture Hospital, and it's like the copay there for actors is like $20. The copay for the drivers, that worked on our
Teamsters.
sets,
Yeah,
they pay like $5.
Yeah.
They have good unions. Our unions are horrible.
Well, how about,
I
the
hate our
school
unions.
system where there's no copay at all? You can have a heart transplant, no charge. This is the school system.
Really?
If you've seen any of the civil servants, they're 100%. Everything.
Wow.
They go to the top of the list for all the donations, right? Get a new liver, no problem,
Gosh.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I don't know. It's like
This
I
is
just
what I wanna
always
put-
stayed out of
right.
politics and stuff because
but at
I
the
just
same time,
I
you
just
need
get
your strong voice. I did 6 years of campaigning with John. John and I were finally elected.
As delegates.
As delegates, right? I carried my badge around with me in the car to show myself that I actually won after 6 years of doing this every year. Now it's every 2 years. So you got some time to think about this. There are two parties, and only one of them wants our union to be SAG, not SAG-AFTRA.
Oh, I know. It's like
U4S wants everything their way. It's a whole. They don't even have a bargaining chip. They want us to drop strike. We can't strike anymore under U4S.
actors want to work. We don't want to strike. We don't want to do any of these things. And I don't know. It's like when I did Night of the Comet.
Yeah.
Robert Beltran was an actor that I worked with
I
on
loved
the
that.
Chuck Norris thing.
Okay, I want you to know I love Night of the Comet. For the amount of money they spent on that thing, whoever that producer director was that spent that money, he spent every dime correctly.
Yeah,
That
he
was
did.
a beautiful
he was
movie.
good. He was
Just
good.
one of those great movies in the middle of nowhere. And you were just splendid, for heaven's sake.
But I talked to the producers and I told them what I wanted.
Yeah.
And it's like if I'd gone to the agent, he would have gotten me less.
Yeah.
And Robert, we did it ourselves, I don't know. It's like all these people, these in-between people who take percentages and stuff, and they just get in the way, and they make people think that you're such a diva, you're not going to work for them, or you're too, you have to have this, you have to have that, you have to have this, you have to have that. I don't think us actors are really, I don't know, I know we have to be taken care of, and I was really surprised that we even had health insurance, and that happened because I was just working, and all of a sudden, I have health insurance, and that's a gift, it really is, because most of us get into this not like expecting any kind of benefits. Well, of course we want to be the huge star and get the Academy Award, but we don't, and we want to have stuff. But we don't really think about, we're not political. Actors aren't political.
Not really.
I shouldn't say that because men and women, they're playing lawyers and doctors and politicians and presidents and stuff like that. And so I guess you have to have a little bit of that in you. You guys probably have a lot.
But
of that
I understand what you're trying to say. We're in it for the art.
I get so
not
mad.
The,
I get
not
so
the
mad
after
at things.
facts.
It's like I just get too angry when there's something that's
That's
going on
what
that
we want.
I just can't.
Sharon, that's what we want. We want you angry and out there because you are Sharon Farrell. I don't care what anybody says. You're a star. And I want you out there saying, I'm angry and I'm not taking this. Thank you, Howard Beale. The whole idea of it. Joanna's not going to speak up yet because she's not completely into the role yet. She will be in 2 years. You are in it, and you're in it now.
But that's only because, I don't even know what you're talking about. I really don't even know what you guys are talking about. I'm just passionate and I'm bipolar.
She's talking about.
I'm really
I
not.
understand what she's saying.
I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying.
You're asking her to do something she's not.
I don't even.
I know.
What are you asking?
All right.
Anyway, we're running out of time. We're running out of time, John.
I'm sorry.
So I gotta.
Something to do with the union.
Yes.
Yeah.
To make it make it SAG again, not after SAG.
That's the first part. Yeah. We have to restore SAG to Screen Actors Guild, not to SAG-AFTRA. We've got a whole thing that is now run entirely by AFTRA. Everything we're doing is AFTRA.
Well, I'm sorry to say, but we're running out of time.
Oh,
so
geez.
I gotta. John Tremaine, thank you for coming on.
Can I come on again?
Yes, you'll come on again.
Because we didn't
No,
get
with Sharon
anything
Farrell.
except
No, we're
I fell in
gonna
love with
come on
Sharon Farrell
again. So this will be
You
almost
guys
part
should really
3.
do a thing where you'll